Definition, fair trade is an approach to business and development based on dialogue, transparency, and respect to create greater equity in the international trading system. There are 9 principles that categorize a fair trade operative, but after traveling to Guatemala and getting the opportunity to meet many artisans, I saw that fair trade goes far beyond just principles. Fair trade changes people's lives. By describing these principles, I hope to give greater insight on how fair trade can work. One of these principles is cultivating environmental stewardship, and that's all about being environmentally sustainable, so that future generations have the ability to meet their own needs as well. These weavers use only natural dyes with no chemicals at all to color their product. These dyes come from plants, fruits, and even insects. They also hand spin their own cotton that is organically grown. By avoiding chemicals, there's less pollution, safer water, and a safer environment. Unfair pay is a huge part of fair trade. Most workers in developing countries are used to unfair wages and exploitation for their goods, and fair trade ensures a fair wage that takes into account labor and time. These ceramic workers are paid by piece, but paid the minimum wage. That may not sound like much, but in Guatemala, less than 30% of workers make minimum wage or above. So by making this minimum wage and getting paid per piece, workers have the chance to provide more for their family. During the dream, 2 very important principles are building capacity and creating opportunity for marginalized producers. Here, they not only employ widows, but they also teach them about their crafts so they can keep growing in their career. They create the opportunity for these women to change their lives and their families' lives through many means, including offering scholarships to students to create an education and better their entire lives. Another principle of fair trade is ensuring the rights of children. When visiting this coffee plant, we entered an entire community made up of families of coffee farmers. In many places, children are forced to work long hours and are unable to attend school and receive an education. But this fair trade coffee plantation does not employ kids. These children are able to attend school and get an education. They are able to run around and play like normal kids instead of being forced into child labor. Fair trade celebrates and embraces cultural diversity. Allowing producers to keep some cultural aspects to their work promotes the spread of their culture and the passing down of traditions, instead of forcing them to create whatever is trendy. These women in Guatemala still weave on a backstrap loom just as they have done for hundreds of years. They create patterns that have significance to their religion, family, and community. Some garments can take months to create. Keeping this technique alive ensures that the cultural identity is maintained. Another principle is developing transparent and accountable relationships. This ensures honesty and good relationships between producers and vendors. These weavers sell their products through Diego, and they have an open dialogue where he can tell them what buyers want, but they can also come up with their own designs. They have a mutual respect for one another and their needs. Fair trade operatives also need to support safe and empowering working conditions. And Wakami, a jewelry company that's fair trade, does just that. Wakami focuses on what individuals' dreams are and helps them achieve them. One woman named Santa became the leader of her group at Wakami and is now building her family a house by the age of 23. There's no way that she could have provided that for her family and child without the empowerment of the fair trade company that she works with. Because so many people are uninformed about fair trade, it needs to be promoted. One way that this fair trade macadamia farm does this is by donating trees to those in need, which then helps them sustain themselves. This creates a conversation that others will hear about. The farm also gives tours and informs all of their customers about the good of fair trade and encourages them to spread the word as well. By informing as many people as possible about fair trade, it's promoted by word of mouth. After seeing firsthand how different fair trade operations work, it is clear to me that it's not just about money. Fair trade is about empowerment and the ability to change people's entire lives for the better.